Where were you born?
At Crown Street Women's Hospital.
And what year was that?
1968.
And where did you grow up?
Like the first years of my life were in Surry Hills, and then we moved to various different places. Like we moved out to Matraville, then we moved to Mount Druitt when I was sort of like early teens, and I'm back.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got 2 brothers and a sister. I'm sort of the second last, so yeah.
So what years did you live in Surry Hills?
Well, I was born when I was born, we lived down in Barcom Avenue, and I grew up there till about, I guess, 4 or 5. Then we moved to Taggarts Lane and was there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are your earliest memories?
I remember particular people in Barcom Avenue, but I don't really remember that like much. Like I don't remember much about that. I just remember a couple of people that used to babysit me and stuff. So that would have been when I was tiny. Yeah, I just have like pictures of their faces and stuff.
You don't know who they were? Or?
Yeah, well, one of the women that used to babysit me, I remember calling her Tissue. Her name was Trisha. I don't know whether that was because I couldn't pronounce her name or because, I don't know, I just like calling her Tissue. Yeah.
And what do you remember after you moved from Barcom Avenue?
We were living at Taggarts Lane. I have, quite a few memories from there. Like, friends I had and schools and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, what kind of a place was it for kids, in the 70s? Surry Hills,
Well, I don't know. We just used to hang out and wander around and do different things.
Was it a good place to grow up in?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Like I have fond memories, but I had no idea what was going on anywhere else. So it was like, yeah, I guess it was.
So what kind of a kid were you?
A brat.
Why do you say that?
I just used to get into mischief a lot and do a lot of, I look back and think silly things, but yeah, a brat, I'd say.
Okay. Well, what sort of a family do you come from?
Working class. My mother sort of was around the house a lot. She used to work night shift. My dad was a presser.
What does that mean?
Presser, like ironer.
Oh, yes.
Sort of in, clothing industry sort of thing. We weren't sort of well off, or, we didn't have a lot of money, but yeah, so working class, I guess.
And who controlled the finances in your family?
I'm not sure. My dad used, like the memories I have is my dad used to bring home a lot of the money. Yeah, I'm not sure who dealt it out, but yeah.
What sort of a man was your father?
Pig. No, he was okay, I suppose. He used to work a lot. He was an alcoholic. he's dead now, so I can say this. Yeah, he used to work long hours and come home and give my brother a hard time and my sister a hard time, because they weren't his kids. But he's like from...
Can we stop a minute? Yeah, we were talking about your dad. He worked pretty hard.
Yeah, he's presser. Yeah. He come out from England, and he had strange ideas, I guess, on life. Very intelligent. He could have been on, Sale of the Century or one of those things, but he sort of drank himself into oblivion, basically. Into the grave, actually. But yeah, he was all right. Because I was his, it was okay. But the others used to get a hard time.
So how would you describe your mother?
Quiet, easy to walk over, she accepting, open, yeah. She's still alive, so I'm not going to say too much.
Okay. Were your parents religious?
Oh no, far from it.
Well, what did they think about religion?
Well, they used to let us go off to Sunday school because they used to pay us to go to Sunday school. The bus used to come around and collect all the kids in the neighbourhood and give them $2 or give us $2. Well, it wasn't $2 back then, but it was, to go, like, to Bob, to go to Sunday school, and we'd have to sit there and pretend we were interested and sing along and then drop us back off.
What church was that?
Church down in Palmer Street.
Do you know what they were called?
Well, it was a Christian church, but it's still down there on Palmer Street, and
They still have Sunday school.
Stanley Street or Palmer Street, somewhere down on the other side of Oxford Street. Yeah. Yeah, they used to bring the little white bus around to pick us all up and take us down there. I guess they thought, if they got us there, they could drum something into us. But so Mum and Dad used to let us do that, but no way religious at all.
Well, what about politics? Were they politically involved?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Mum's always a Labor sort of person, but she, sometimes she votes, sometimes she doesn't. So she's not really political now. I don't know about back then.
Would your dad have been involved if he was working in the rag trade? Was that heavily? Was that unionised? It's got a bad.
Yeah, he would have been in the union. Yeah.
It was pretty weak though, that union, wasn't it? Or
I don't.
You don't know.
I have no idea.
He wasn't involved in organising or anything like that.
I don't think so.
There's a lot of women workers in that, more than men.
Well, from what I gather, the women used to do the sewing stuff, and the men were the pressers. Like, they used to do the more manly sort of jobs. So, yeah.
Did he iron at home?
No. No.
Okay. Well, what sort of discipline was used in the house?
Well, because I was his, as I said before, and my younger brother, we used to get away with a whole lot of stuff. But my older brother, Shane, my older brother and my older sister, if, like I remember if they didn't eat their vegetables, well, my older brother didn't like cabbage and didn't like lumpy mashed potato. He used to say, "You've got an hour to eat it, or I'll rub it in your face." And he used to rub it in his face. It was like, yeah.
And you could get away with not eating what you didn't want?
Well, to an extent, yeah. Because we were sort of favourites. we were his, so we got. I mean, I didn't get away with as much as my younger brother because he's the baby, see. But I got away with a bit more than the older ones, yeah.
How did your mum feel about that kind of inequity? Was she able to do anything about it? Or?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, she's quite sort of woman, and I don't think she could have done much. So.
Were you expected to contribute to the family in any way?
What, like housework and stuff? No. Mum did all that. Didn't do any of that. She did all the washing, all the...
Did you have to make your own bed?
No.
What about, did you ever have to have a job like, I don't know, selling newspapers or anything like that? Was that ever an option in those years, or...?
No. I didn't. Shane did, but I didn't, no.
And what about your older sister? Would she have... Was it just because you were girls, or...?
I'm not sure, really. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, Shane did a paper up, but, yeah, Mark was too young, and, Karen was too out of control. Yeah, I was never pressured to get any sort of outside work or anything like that.
What did the family do for fun?
Oh dear. We didn't really go anywhere. We didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, occasionally, like I have a memory of my father taking us for walks around the block and stuff, and throwing I think this was when we were in the currency we are now, because it changed somewhere along there. Throwing a note into the gutter as we left sort of our house, and as we all come back, he'd say, "What's that there?" and we'd all scramble for it. But as for going on outings or to the movies or anything like that, there was none of that.
Picnics or...?
No. We didn't have a car for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you typically do in the evening? I mean, would you have your main meal in the evening?
Yeah, dinner.
Dinner. So after dinner, what would happen in your household?
We'd watch Box for a bit and then get sent to bed.
What sort of programs were your favourite?
I don't remember what was on telly back then. I have no idea. No idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. What would have been... You say you have the dinner, it would be in the evening. Would that be like at 6 or 7 o'clock?
Oh, no.
What time?
Around 5.
5? Would your father get... What time would your father start work?
I think early in the morning.
Right, so
like 7ish or something like that. Yeah. But we'd always have dinner at 5.
Is that normal? I mean, sorry, is that typical?
Yeah.
In the neighbourhood?
Well, I don't know about... No, I don't know about everyone else, but my father liked to have dinner at 5. So when he got home from work, dinner would be ready. So we'd all have to sit round and, yeah.
And then you'd watch TV? Or...
Yeah, for while ever the coins last.
Over the what?
The coins lasted. Because it was one of those coin-operated numbers.
Well, tell me about those.
Well, I don't actually remember ever putting coins in, but I was talking to my mum last week, and she said that the electricity and the telly was coin operated. That's how, like, Rentlow and that started renting out tellies, but it started with actually putting coins in, and you get, you know, like 2 hours or something. But I don't remember really. But that's what my mum says. So I don't know.
In the summer, like if you ate that early in the summer, would you then go back outside and play with kids in the street?
No,
Yeah.
I think we all had to have a bath and get ready for bed, didn't we?
Yeah. What was the age range of the kids in the family?
Well, there's 2 years between my younger brother and me and my older brother, and then 4 years difference between my oldest brother and my older sister. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, I know. So what was a typical meal, this evening meal? What would you have?
I remember stew, quite, because my father's English, he likes his stew, so I have these vivid memories of stew with dumplings and
And the smell wafting through the house.
yeah, and like 3 veggies and meat. Apparently we used to have black pudding a lot. I hate black pudding, but because my dad's English, he liked black pudding, so my mum used to make it for him. But yeah, I remember stew, like all in the pot, boiled for 8 hours, all mushy with like flour and water dumplings sort of stuck in the top with the lid on. Yeah.
And did you have dessert?
Did we ever? No, I don't think we ever got dessert. I mean, maybe on special occasions, but no.
And would there always be bread and butter with the meal?
With the stew, yes.
Okay. Okay. So did your mother ever work outside the home?
Yeah, she had a night job at one point, but I'm not exactly sure what she did. Yeah, I don't remember what she used to do.
Okay. Did your dad like his work?
I don't know. I guess he must. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So he was in the Air Force for a while, so he was a gunner, and that sort of stuck with him to the end. Like, he's a gunner do this and he's a gunner do that. But he was actually a gunner in fighter planes and stuff.
Was that World War
II? British. Well, yeah, I think so. I think it would have been the latter. No, it would have been the earlier one. I'm not sure exactly which one I've been trying to find out which one it was, because he sort of died and I didn't actually talk to him about it.
So if he was in the Royal Air Force, the British one, as a gunner, could it have been that he wasn't in? Because that would make. Was he very old? Because that would make him.
He was a lot older than my mum. He was like 20 years older than my mum. So, yeah. So it must have been that he was only really young when he was in the Air Force.
Right.
And he got tuberculosis, so he got, leave or whatever they call it. I'm not sure. I don't know my father very well at all, but I just sort of know specific little bits. Yeah.
And so then he came. Then he came to Australia.
His family migrated, and somewhere along the line he met my mum, and they never actually got married. They just sort of lived together, because my mum's dead against marriage, so yeah, they just sort of lived together.
And so did he work locally?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where, but it was local. I think it was down in you know, around Kippax Street and all those warehouses down there.
Mm. And what was how do you think he felt about his work? You seemed a bit unsure whether he liked it or not.
Well, I don't know. He used to come home and drink, so whether that's a sign of unhappiness or, I guess it is.
He didn't discuss it though?
No.
Okay. Can you describe your mother's working day?
What, round the house?
But just what they did. Sometimes you ask people the question and they say, oh no, my mum didn't work. And then you say, well, describe her day. You know, and you get these lengthy, especially men say that their mum didn't work.
Yeah.
Or some men, not all. So it's just interesting to see, well, what if women weren't working outside the home?
Yeah.
What they did do.
Well, Mum did work, but she used to come home and do everything after work. I remember she come home one day with a puppy. That's why I know she was working, because someone at work gave her a puppy and she brought it home. Turned out to be a savage thing. But, yeah. She just...
Do you know what time she'd get up in the morning and that kind of thing?
She used to get home like 7 or 8 in the morning, so I'm not sure what time she actually left for work. I know she was always there when we went to bed, but I'm not sure what time she left. Or I just have memories of her coming home in the morning
and then she'd do the housework in the day and cook the evening meal.
Yeah, so we'd go off to school, so I don't know. She must have slept, obviously, from the time we went off to school. And yeah.
Sounds like she worked pretty hard. Yeah.
Working class.
Well, given that your father was in the war, I know you don't know him that well. How do you think the war could have affected your dad? Have you got any impression?
No.
Okay.
No, he has. We never really talked about it, and so I don't know. I have no idea.
Was your mother happy?
No, I don't think so. Because my dad drank a lot, she used to hide his bottles in like the cistern in the toilet, and in the washing machine, and in the most obscure places. No, I don't think she was happy. And in fact, while we were in Surry Hills, the reason why we left Surry Hills was to leave him. So no, I don't think she was. Maybe in the beginning she was, but towards when I remember, no.
Well, what about your father? Was he happy?
No, I don't think so. Well, anyone that drinks themselves into oblivion is obviously not happy. Yeah, no. I don't, not deep down, maybe outwardly he come across okay, but...
And would he drink like that every night?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How old was he when he died?
He was 52 at last count. And well, last time I remember asking my mum how old she was. She was 36. She's now 50 something.
So he was 52 when? What year?
When we were living in Surry
Hills. All right.
So it would have been, he would have been 60 something, yeah. But he was really skinny and you know, looked like an alco, and yeah, when we were at Surry Hills, so.
What was the variety of fruit and veg that were around then in the, this is, we're probably talking about the mid-70s, aren't we, your memories?
Yeah, yeah. I remember chocos. I hate chocos. Everyone had chocos. Well, we used to have like cabbage and pumpkin and potato and peas, cauliflower, and that was probably, I mean, maybe there's a few other sort of things that I can't remember, but that was sort of the vegetables that I remember.
Yeah. Did you have much fruit?
Apples.
Mm.
Apples. It was just sort of apples, I guess. Yeah, I don't remember taking bananas. They were a bit exotic. Yeah.
Was the stuff mostly seasonal or out of season? See, now you can get anything all year round.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that's. Can you recall?
No,
if that
I don't know.
was available then?
I hate apples now because we used to have them shoved in our lunch and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. Neighbourhood in the 70s in Surry Hills?
Well, we used to hang out with a few young people, but...
Stop. Were there a lot of kids in Surry Hills in the 1970s?
Well, we hung out with a group of kids. We had like a little group that we always hung out with. As for other kids, I don't know. I mean, we had our own little group and we used to hang out with them.
Were they from school, the kids?
Yeah.
Well, who were they?
There was Cassie and Cassie's brother, and my friend Susie Spoon. I used to call her Susie Spoon. I don't know why, but I used to call her Susie Spoon. She was my best friend. And I used to hang out with Shane a lot. We've always sort of hung out together. Yeah, so it wasn't a big group. It was just like a few of us.
Well, what sort of things would you do together?
Throw fruit at the one-armed soldier at Crown Street School. Follow old men and pick up their bumpers. A whole lot of different... Just sort of wander around and be brats, basically.
Who was this one-armed soldier at this... What was he doing at the school?
Oh, no, not a live one-armed soldier. Like this, at Crown Street Public School, they've got a soldier in the front yard on a plinth sort of thing. And for a long time there, he had only one arm. He's been restored now. It's a shame. But, yeah, he holds a gun and he sort of stands there. I'm not sure. I guess it's some Anzac Day thing. I don't know what it is. But we used to throw fruit at him because he was a sitting target. Yeah.
Well, can you remember any adventures that you had?
Oh, lots. We used to, the Boulevard Hotel was there then. It still is. I hope they're not watching. We used to go up there and say me and Susie Spoon, and Cassie, and you used to go up there and say that your aunt was staying in the hotel, but in the lift, press the button that takes you up to the indoor pool, and we used to swim there. We used to roam around, sort of around the cross, and just hang out. At the side of Crown Street School, they've got like a cement, I guess it's a water drainage sort of thing that was like a slippery slide. We used to slide down that on cardboard. Yeah, just used to sort of hang out, I guess.
How did you find out about the pool at the Boulevard?
I have no idea. I guess someone must have mentioned it, or maybe we were just sort of going in to have a look around, because it's a huge building, and when you're little it's sort of like, and there's guys that stand at the door and there's a guy in the lift, so I don't know how maybe we just sort of wandered past one day and thought, we'll go and have a look, or maybe someone mentioned there was a pool, so we, yeah.
It's a wonder they let you in.
Hey?
It's a wonder they let you in.
Yeah. Well, when you're this big and you say, well, my aunt's staying on the 7th floor, you know, they'd fall for it. I guess we looked too young to be up to anything really evil, so yeah.
Did you ever get chased out of the pool?
Yeah, a couple of times. Well, some of the guys got to know us, like the lift operators. So, yeah, a couple of times, but not very often. I think they just sort of let us go because we were young and we weren't doing any harm. We were just sort of swimming, and it's heated, so it's really nice.
Yeah. Sounds good. What games did you play? What were...
Hopscotch. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really remember what sort of, like hopscotch was one, but I don't really remember, like, I guess make-believe sort of games.
Where would you play?
Well, where we lived, there was a car park across the road.
That's
Like,
Taggarts Lane.
Yeah, there was a little, I guess it's still there, little car park for the other place on the other side of the road. We used to play there a lot. And in the backyard we had a cemented sort of driveway that we used to play in until we got the savage dog.
How far were you allowed to roam?
It didn't matter how far we were allowed to roam. We used to roam everywhere.
Well, what was your range, really, where you would go?
We didn't come over this side of, like, towards the Redfern very often. It was more towards King's Cross and down the back towards Woolloomooloo, towards the city. But yeah, not so much over this side. Kilometres, I don't know.
Did you have any favourite places where you, favourite places where you would go to play? I mean, the car park doesn't sound terribly exciting. Were there other places, or really was it?
Well, we used to go down to the there's a park down near the new police centre. We used to go down there, playground sort of thing. We used to go and play in the school a lot.
Was that okay? Was the school okay about that?
Well, no, but we used, because at the front there's a lot of bushery and that, and we used to play on the slide that used to go down the side of the bushery. Yeah, and we go places like the Boulevard Hotel and down to the church where they paid us $2 bob, and yeah, wander around a lot. We didn't really have a hangout. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that. There were really that many kid-friendly places. Do you know what I'm saying? That it doesn't sound like that. There's a. I don't hear much, grass or. It just sounds.
Because we live right next to Oxford Street, there wasn't many parks. Well, there wasn't any that I can think of that we used to go, except for the one down near the police centre. Yeah, and I guess we weren't sort of the type of kids to go and play on swings. We were more sort of wandery, into mischief sort of kids. We used to hang out a lot at Wynn's. Wynn's used to be a big department store. We used to hang out there a lot. But yeah.
But when you were, 8, was that when you were 8, 9 and 10, you'd really be that free?
7, 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it safe?
I don't know. I felt safe, but
you felt confident?
Yeah.
Well, what sort of mischief would you get up to, aside from?
Like swimming at the Boulevard Hotel, throwing fruit at the one-armed soldier, following old men. Like Susie Spoon and I used to pretend we were grown-ups and follow old men and wait till they drop their butts and then, have a go. Yeah, we used to hang out at Wynn's, and I'm not going to incriminate myself. Yeah, we just used to, and we go around to Cassie's house a lot because their parents were okay. And there was a little park next door to their place.
Were there any of the playgrounds around this area? You know how...
Yeah, we used to go up to Moore Park occasionally, and swing on the swings up there because they were huge and you could swing like really high.
But what about those, those ones where they had council staff, council run them, and they used to have organised sports and things?
Yeah,
Were there
Moore
any?
Park was sort of like that. Yeah, I guess it's still the same today. I don't know how they run now, but they used to have like roller skating with strap-on roller skates. How embarrassing. Yeah, so we used to go up there a bit, I guess, too. And there were staff there that would dish out the skates and make sure you brought the right number back and stuff, yeah.
But that wasn't, well, clearly that wasn't one of your favourite places. Like, it wasn't like a place you went to very often.
No. It was a bit of a hike.
Right.
So, yeah.
I guess being so close to Oxford Street, you must have been closer to more commercial things. Was it a more commercial... Well, what sort of an area where you were living there? How would you describe it? Was it residential or commercial or industrial? What would you say?
Commercial. There was a lot of shops. There wasn't many residential houses around where we lived, because we lived so close to Oxford Street, like half a block or something, like virtually on the back door. Yeah, it was more commercial. I mean, there was residentials around, but yeah, I guess it wasn't industrial.
It wasn't?
No, not that I remember.
Were there any places that you were not allowed to go as a kid, where your parents had said, right?
Oh, a lot.
Well, what would they name as places that were considered undesirable for kids?
Well, we weren't supposed to go up near the cross. We weren't supposed to wander anywhere, really. We were supposed to stay within the block. But you get out and your little feet start going and you can't stop yourself, really.
It doesn't sound like there was very much of interest on the block. Is that right, or am I being unfair?
There wasn't anything to do on the block. I think we were the only kids about, really, in our block. Yeah, us.
Yeah.
So.
Well, where did you go to school?
Crown Street Public School.
And what was that like?
Hard.
What?
I have the only, like, I have vague memories of what sort of place it was like, but the only sort of vivid memory I have, and they're going to hate me when I say this, but that being caned. So, yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
And what would you get, 6?
Yeah.
On the legs?
On the hand.
Oh.
But that was, for a kid, that was cool then, because everyone used to think, oh, they're not crying. It's like, yeah.
And what would you do to get 6?
Well, I don't want to. Windsor's gone now. They're in non-existence, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right. When we were kids, we used to go and nick Barbie dolls from Wynn's, and I remember the principal standing up at assembly and saying, "Okay, who's been nicking things from or stealing things from Wynn's?" And like a goose, Susie Spoon puts her hand up. And then 4, 5, 6 other kids go as well. So it was like, yeah, I sort of got roped into it as well.
So was the Barbie doll section of Wynn's empty?
Well, I don't know about empty, and I'm not sure it was just Barbie dolls that got nicked, but I don't think anyone that went to our school was particularly wealthy. So to get things, it was like, yeah. Yeah, so I have this memory of a whole line of us standing there waiting, and we'd watch everyone as they come out of the principal's office, go, or about to cry or whatever. It's an awful memory, but it's there. So.
Well, what was the education like there? Was it encouraging?
I don't remember. that's the only memory I have apart from, you know, where I went before school and stuff like that. I don't actually remember any of the teachers or anything like that.
Were there any people that you were told to avoid?
Is it okay?
Yep.
Not that I remember. No, I know I was banned from seeing Susie Spoon.
Why?
Oh, because we took off together. I just remember thinking, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to go out and live on my own, and going around to her place. And I gave some spiel to her mum, so I stayed there for the night. But I remember being shipped back home the next morning and getting in a whole heap of trouble.
How old were you?
7 or 8. Like, you get these notions that you can just go out and do what you want. It doesn't always work like that. Yeah. So I wasn't allowed to see her after that. But we still did, but yeah.
Were you happy at that school?
No, I know I didn't like the canings much, but yeah, I don't really remember much about the school at all. Only the one-armed soldier and... Yeah.
Was the cane used often?
I think so. I think it was standard, like, they didn't keep you back. They gave you 6 and you could leave at 3 o'clock. So, yeah.
What about sex education? Did you get any sex education?
No, none at all.
Not from your mum?
No.
So,
none at all.
well, so what did you think was going on when you started to menstruate?
Thought I was bleeding to death. Yeah. Well, I'd sort of heard different stuff, and because I wasn't sort of, you know, unaware of what was going on in the world. Well, as far as that sort of stuff, yeah, it just sort of happened. Like you get bits from your friends, like they say, and you think, oh, you know, there was no formal sort of stuff, not like there is today.
So it wasn't a complete shock and horror when you found yourself bleeding, like.
Well,
you had.
I had some idea. I didn't know what it'd be like. I mean, I know I looked down and thought, I'm bleeding. Yeah, but yeah, it wasn't a total, you know, I wasn't like gonna have a heart attack or anything because I had some vague idea, but yeah.
What was the size?
Archives that big.
What was the average family size?
Oh dear. Well, the oldest and the youngest are the fattest. Is that what you mean?
No, sorry. I mean, how many kids within the family? In families then? I mean, did they have, I mean, some...
Sorry. Oh dear.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We had 4.
Was that big?
No, I don't think so. I think I think that was pretty average. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, we weren't sort of like, you know how some families have 12. It wasn't like that. Yeah.
What places were important to you?
How?
No. When you were in Surry Hills, what are the places that you... Were there any places that you look upon as being special to you?
Well, just places that I have memories of. Like the one-armed soldier and that slide, the cement slide. I still go past that today and think, I used to slide down there on cardboard. and where I used to live, like when I go past there, I think I used to live there when I was like this high. But as for, I guess the church was pretty special because they used to pay us. Yeah, but as I didn't have sort of a hangout or a place that I used to be in awe of or anything like that. Yeah.
What was the social focus of the area?
What do you mean?
Well, was there any sort of sense of community where you were living? Was there a community feel there, or?
Yeah, I guess so, because we used to have two people just up the road that used to babysit us every morning before we went to school. And we used to have to call them uncle and auntie even though they weren't related. Yeah, and yeah, there was a community feel because the people at the corner shop and at the pub and stuff, I think that there was quite a small community within the larger sort of scheme of things.
Was there a lot of moving people? Did most people own their own houses?
No, I don't think so. No, I think most people we knew rented, and whether that's a class thing or whether,
So was there a lot of turnover of people, or was the area was it a stable population?
Well, the people we knew were there for a long time, were there before we got there, and were there for the duration of while we were there, or the people we knew anyway. Excuse me. I don't know about, obviously, people that we didn't have anything to do with, but the corner shop was there for a long time, and the same guy ran the pub, and
Well, so and was there any place there, like the pub perhaps, that was a focus where people might meet and talk and?
Yeah, the pub.
The pub.
Pub was sort of like where all the men used to go. And
what pub was that?
it's on the corner. It's now the Beresford Bentley Bar. It's now the Bentley Bar, but it used to be something else. It's on the corner of Crown and, is that Campbell that comes down? Yeah.
What was Oxford Street like at that time? Was it like it is now? It's a pretty sort of trendy sort of
happening sort of place.
Yeah.
I don't really remember.
Can you remember what sort of shops were there? I mean, now it's all boutique style stuff.
No, I don't think it was like that. I think it was more like Mum says that there was like a big supermarket there that she used to shop at, and I think it was more. It wasn't as exclusive as it is now. Like, it didn't have that sort of I guess air, I suppose. So I think it was more working class sort of a place rather than somewhere where you go and spend $500 on a pair of designer label pants.
Where did most people work who lived in the area?
I'd have no idea.
Okay. Was it a safe place?
I don't know. I mean, I felt confident, but I don't know.
Okay. Who were your neighbours?
We used to have a woman across the road who had a huge horse dog, what is it?
Great Dane?
Yeah, Great Dane, that apparently my brother and sister used to ride as a horse. I got vague memories, but nothing really vivid. And the only sort of other neighbours that we had anything to do with were on the other side of Campbell Street, and they were the ones that used to babysit us. So we didn't have much to do with. My mum and dad knew the woman across the road that had the car park, but we didn't have much to do with, I guess, many other people in the block. There was only sort of 2 houses on the block, so it wasn't. Yeah.
This is Taggart Lane, isn't it? The other thing, what was the ethnic well, how aware were you of the area away from that lane? I mean, could you comment on the ethnic mix?
No, I have no idea. I,
What about at school? There must have. What was the sort of racial breakdown there? Any sense of it?
well, yeah, I guess there were kids from other backgrounds and stuff, but it wasn't like I had a Greek friend or a Yugoslav friend or anything like
Susie
that.
was Yugoslavian.
Well, Susie Spoon was Yugoslavian, but she didn't. Well, I guess as a kid you're not aware of that sort of stuff. It's only when you become older that sort of stuff's ingrained and you
Become conscious.
yeah, become conscious of it, and that's when the racism starts. When you're a kid, that sort of stuff doesn't matter. Yeah.
Can you remember what the main businesses in the area were?
Well, there was Wynn's. They were on the corner of Crown and Oxford. There was the pub on the corner that's now the Bentley Bar, but that was called it wasn't as groovy then. I remember the smell, it smelled foul. And along Crown Street between the school and the corner where the Bentley Bar is now used to be like a corner story, like a small grocery sort of shop. Yeah, it's changed lots. I think, like just the whole atmosphere of the place. Now it's really elite, but back then I don't think it was. Yeah.
Can you remember any local characters?
Well, the people that we used to stay with before school used to have a little dog, like a little Silky, that used to go down to the corner shop and get the paper and bring it back every morning. It got hit by a car eventually. No, I don't like that's the extent of local characters that I remember, apart from, like the shopkeeper and stuff.
What about local crims?
Apart from ourselves, I've got no idea. No idea.
Can you remember any big events?
Remember the Bay City Rollers? Yeah, terrible bunch. But I remember them coming to town, and they stayed at the Boulevard.
Were you able to sneak in on this occasion?
No, we were across the road because apparently they were going to make a wave at the window or something, and I remember standing there for hours and hours with a little tartan neck thing, scarf. Bay City Rollers. Yeah, but and a couple of girls climbed up the outside, and I think they were rescued. I always thought they'd plummeted, but I think they were rescued before they plummeted. Yeah, that was a pretty big event. Like, there was crowds everywhere. It was just huge. Yeah.
I think they were marketed as the next Beatles or something at the time.
Oh, sad bunch. When I think about it, they were a sad bunch.
Yeah. Well, when there was no money, how did people survive? I mean, was there much money in your household?
No, we didn't have much money at all, apart from Dad blowing it on his scotch. Mum talks about getting vouchers and stuff.
What, from like the Smith family or?
Yeah, we used to use it. Like, I remember the Smith family used to come around every year with a hamper, and it's embarrassing. Yeah, so Mum used to go to charities a lot because we were so unwell off, I guess.
Yeah. Was there any employment available for kids?
Well, Shane used to have a paper run.
What about illegal employment? I mean, could kids get...
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Maybe he'd know.
Can you remember any local crims?
No, you asked me that.
Did I?
No idea.
Okay, sorry. What smells can you remember?
The smell of the pub, the smoke, the old beer, the I guess you get the same smell when you go into a pub during the day and there's no one there. You know, that real putrid sort of smell. And the stew cooking. I used to get to the front door and think, oh no, not stew again. But yeah, not any sort of industrial smells or, yeah.
Was it very polluted?
What, the area? I don't remember.
Okay. Did you ever go on holidays?
Not while we were there, I don't think. Oh, was it Tea Gardens?
No,
That was later.
We went to
Orange. Yeah, my gran lived at Orange and my pop lived at Orange. And she was bedridden, so we used to go up there. Mum bought a dodgy old car, a Hillman I think it was, and it was grey. And I remember when we got to the railway tracks near Orange, the road goes over the railway tracks, we'd all have to get out and push because it didn't make it over the railway lines. It was so dodgy. We used to bring back, because my pop and gran used to have a cherry orchard, we used to bring back boxes and boxes of cherries, and by the time we hit Bathurst, we were all with cherries, like, you just sort of, yeah. So I guess that was our holiday. Like, we used to go up there because Dad just liked to see his mum and stuff. Yeah.
Where did most people do their shopping?
I don't personally remember, but Mum, I was talking to Mum, and she said used to be a supermarket, like a Franklin's, but not a Franklin's, on Oxford Street, and she used to go there. So I guess that was probably, one of the main places around.
What were the most popular newspapers of the time?
The Sun. I remember the Sun. Maybe it wasn't called the Sun back then. But I remember they used to have a little dog that they'd hide somewhere between the front cover and the back cover, like a little cartoon dog. And it was like, where's Wally? You had, I remember Dad saying that there's this dog hidden somewhere and looking for it. And I think that was the Sun. I think it was. I may be wrong, but I think it was.
What magazines were around then?
I have no idea.
Comics?
I don't think we could afford comics. I don't think we ever had comics.
Did you have books and toys?
I don't remember toys.
The Barbies?
Oh, well, the Barbies we used to nick. My brother had a push cart, one of those things you get on and wheel yourself. No.
Did you make billy carts or stuff like that in those days?
Did we? No. We weren't sort of hang around at home sort of kids. We were out and about sort of kids. We sort of wandered a lot and got into mischief and did some really, silly things, I guess, looking back.
Did you go to the movies?
No. What's a movie? No.
Can you remember any deaths?
The death of my gran, but I'm not sure whether that was while we were still there or, but no, the people that we sort of knew.
Can you remember the sacking of Whitlam?
No idea. I remember the Whitlam government, but I think I remember that from seeing, you know, things on telly since then.
What can you remember any rituals like Cracker Day or Arbor Day or Wattle Day?
Oh, Cracker Day. We used to build big bonfires, and like we'd all go out and gather wood and set it up in the car park next door, like over the road. Like we'd have a big sort of like teepee thing of wood and rubbish and whatever else, and
Would that be you and all your friends?
and my dad and stuff. He used to light them all. We'd have to stand back, and he used to light them all. Yeah, well, we'll light this one now. Yeah. Cracker Day was a big one when we were kids. It was the highlight of our year. We used to, for a week leading up to Cracker Day, we'd be collecting wood, and sometimes, you know, you get a pile 6 foot high of wood and stuff.
Where would you get it from?
All about, wherever you come
Just ground
across
it in the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we just? I'd like to thank you, Zowie. It's been really good.
Well, I
I've
stirred
enjoyed
up a
meeting
lot of memories. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's been good.
Thanks very much.
Okay, bye.